Good morning. Restocking the supplies today. Okay, let's get to work on the bean planter. First thing we got to do is hang these brackets back up. Those are what our closing wheel frames mount to, so we got to put them on before we can put the closing wheel frames on. So I'll show you how one of these does, since I didn't show you how they come off yesterday. Alright, so essentially this piece just bolts up here. We got these two bolts, go through these two holes and hold it in there. Now, the trick here is that these gauge wheels are kind of in the way, so we got to push them up a little bit. Get one of these screws started so it's at least held in place. Maybe. Alright. Right there. There we go. And the one in the back, I can start it by hand, but it's a little bit difficult to get the impact on it because of how it fits in there. I'll show you. Alright, get started. Okay, so there's our two bolts. This one's easy to get to. This one is kind of tucked up behind this, so it's, yeah. So I've got the swivel on the impact, and somehow or another we can get it up in there. In fact, using my phone here might help. No, two-hand job. Just like that. Now we do that 8 more times, 7 more times, and then we take more off. And alright, well, the back rank is back on. We still got 8 of them to do on the front yet. I think before we do that, I'm going to put row units back on the back ones, fold them up out of the way. Not that it helps in the center, but at least we can get a little closer. I'm going through and putting these meters back on this back row. I thought I'd try and show you how it works a little bit. Let's see if I can get this to stay. Trying to make sure all the meters go back on the rows they came off of. So this one is numbered, it's 21. It snaps on, or kind of sets in like that. And I'm just checking to make sure that this rubber piece on the bottom is put together right. Okay, and then it snaps down. There's a latch on the back here. Hooks in there. And then we hook up, this shaft is what spins the meter. Sometimes you gotta turn it a little bit to get it lined up so that it goes all the way in. Rock it, hook up the wire. That is for the electric clutch to the row shut off. This tube hooks up to the door, that's for the vacuum. And then somewhere, this one is for the seed. I'm not going to plug those in yet because there's probably dirt in that hose that I don't want to blow it right into the meter, so I want to set it down and blow them out before I hook it up. Anyway, they're fairly simple. Okay, half the meters are on. Now I'm going to go up to the tractor and fold them ones up out of the way. Kind of like that. So one thing that I haven't talked about on this planter is the kind of the differences between this and the corn planter, and why it's got this back rank versus just the front, like the you know. So we use this on our operation exclusively for planting soybeans, and we don't like planting our beans in 30-inch rows for several reasons. I do some, but we don't want to plant the majority of them that way. We like the 15-inch row spacing. Well, in order to use a planter like this to get the row units close enough together, they put this back rank on that splits the front one. So those rows are 30 inches apart, very much exactly like the corn planter. And then we put these back ones down, and it splits them so that the rows are 15 inches apart. So when John Deere developed this planter, I think the theory or the idea is that for an operation that doesn't want to buy two separate planters, one for corn and one for beans, you could use this to do either one. So you can plant 30-inch rows with this planter. You would put a short cylinder stop on that cylinder there, and then when those lower, they don't go all the way into the ground, and you only use the front ones. Likewise, these rows in the center that don't fold up hydraulically, but there's a arm that you can use, and you hook it in here and you have to manually lift them, but then this is a latch to lock them up so that they are not in the ground, and you can plant 30-inch rows, which is cool, and it helps, you know, reduce your equipment cost if you only have to buy one planter instead of two. But the problem with that is that this planter is extremely heavy. That is the biggest downfall with the 1790 planters from John Deere, is that all of those row units up there, they weigh a lot, and the seed tanks in the center weigh a lot. And so when you're using it, if you were using it for 30-inch rows and just using the front rank of openers, units, you're carrying around a lot of extra weight that you don't need, which in the spring, especially if it's wet, can cause compaction and be a major problem. So we don't use it for that. We use it for beans for 15-inch rows. We really like it for that. The planter row units with the vacuum discs and the seed plates do a much better job of singulating and population control to get the right seeding rate than what the drills do or an air seeder, and it's a lot easier to set. So that's something that we really like about this planter, and we feel that the True V, the double disc openers, do a better job than the single disc style that's on the drill. So anyway, that's just kind of a little bit about how it works and why there. But all right, we've got closing wheel frames from here across the front over to the other side. There's 8 of them that we've got to get taken off and welded up and then painted and put back on. I just got a delivery from my down at my seed warehouse there. I went and picked up. I saw the boxes sitting outside. Pearl Bright. This stuff is an additive for my seed treatment. And yeah, basically what it does is make the soybeans shiny. In fact, you can see some of this they spilled on the box when they were loading it. This is going to make a mess. This is what it's going to do. I've been warned that it makes a mess, so I'm expecting it, but I had a customer that requested it, and so I looked into it, and while it costs something, it's not horribly expensive, and it was worth it to add it for somebody that actually is requesting it. Personally, I'm not convinced that it actually does anything other than make the beans shiny, but there is a little bit of an argument that it helps with some flowability. At least it says so on the box. Makes the seeds slipperier so that they slide past each other a little bit. I don't know if I'm buying that, but whatever. We'll try it. Like I said, if somebody's willing to buy seed treatment from me, pay for it, then I will put it on the seed for them. So the problem is, this is a dry product. It is not a liquid like everything else that I use. And so we had to buy a dry applicator for my treater as well. It's designed for it, mounts right up to it, which is fine. It'll work great. I have to get one and get it installed. So that's on its way too. I am not even going to open one of these boxes up right now to look at it because I don't want this stuff going everywhere. But essentially you can think of that as a $350 box of the finest, lightest, fluffiest glitter you've ever seen in your life. It's basically a glitter bomb. All right, I had to stop and pay a couple of bills. Brock is here, so he's taking apart these closing wheel frames for me. Although not very quickly, Brock. You don't have any done yet. Oh, he's taking all the wheels off first. Yeah, he's got the wheels off of all of them, getting there. Started doing them all just one. Yeah, that's how I would do it too, so. All right, so Brock's about got those closing wheel frames off. Got a couple to do. We got to take these ones off, right, Brock? And then I'm going to go eat lunch, so I'm going to give him some direction. But so these meters all run on a vacuum, right? And so we've got our vacuum fans out here. And if you'll notice, this big tube that's got the air, it goes directly into the frame. The frame on these planters act as the manifold for the vacuum. So, Brock, what we need to do is take these end plates off here. There's a seal, and clean out inside that tube. It'll have a bunch of talc and dirt and dust and powder and probably some broken seed and all that stuff in there. So there's one on each side on the main frame, and then there's one out here on the ends. This one can be a little bit difficult to get to, but we'll take that off and get our shop vac and see if we can't clean them out a little bit. Deal? Deal. All right, I am back from lunch. Brock's got these all off. He's wire wheeling stuff up, cleaning up these brackets. So we're gonna start with these again. Get them welded up so we can get them painted, and I get to spend the rest of the afternoon welding again. Yay me. I better be getting good at this eventually. I cranked the amperage up to 145. Seems to be helping. A little better. There we go. PSA for the day. When you weld something, it gets hot. Just wanted you to know that. I mean, I didn't touch it. Yeah, they're hot. So what's it look like in there, Brock?
It's bad. It's dirty.
Ah.
That one's worse.
Joy, joy. Have fun getting in there. Let's go look at this one. Oh, yeah. Well, that's why we take the caps off and clean them. Uh-huh. That one kind of looks like a bird or something's been in there, which is entirely possible. You know, every time I start to think I'm getting the hang of this, and I do a nice, pretty decent weld, like that one, and that one was okay. And I think, yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm going to show you guys this. I turn around and do some piece of crap like that. Frustrating. It's all right. Like I said, it'll hold. All right, these things have cooled down enough. I'm going to get the paint on them so it can start drying. So hopefully we can get them down today yet. We'll finish welding those other ones up after we're done. I'm finding out that if the slag chips off in one big piece, well, that one didn't chip off as easy, but that's a pretty good weld. Sometimes I can get it to pop off in 2 or 3 hits in one big piece, and those seem to be better welds. I think part of why this is a little bit difficult is because I'm going around a circle, so it's hard to keep my rod at just the right angle versus a straight line, but hey, those are good. We all know the angle of your rod is extremely important. Last one. 32 rows, all welded up. I think I deserved a cookie break. Thanks. All right, Brock's getting these vacuum chambers tubes cleaned out. This one looks pretty good compared to what it was, so that's good. We're having a little trouble getting in these ones on the end here though, because the marker arm is right in line and in the way. with trying to get something in there. So we're gonna fix it. Yeah, you ain't gonna move that. Here, go stand up there and push. She's got a little leverage, or need a little leverage, I guess. There you go. Folds right out of the way. So now you can get in there. At least a little better. You guys missed it. Did you hear what he just said? Say it again.
Nope.
Say it again.
John Deere's not too bad after.
There you go. This is a it's a shear bolt. Where'd that bolt go? Right here. That bolts that in there. It's so when you're going along on your auto steer and you put your marker down and you forget about it, and then there's a tree over there and the marker hits the tree, it breaks the bolt and folds back out of the way, and you don't bend up the whole marker arm that way. I'm getting my welding stuff all cleaned up and put back. I should really go through and organize this, figure out what we've got and organize it. Yeah. Maybe after we get our parts for that MIG welder and we can get that stuff all put away, back together. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to work on here is these chains. There are several drive chains on here that turn these hex shafts. These hex shafts are what turn the cables. The cables turn the meters. The hex shafts are all driven with that hydraulic motor right there. And so we're going to take all the chains off and lube them, make sure that they are free and not too worn. Try and clean them up a little bit. Here's the first one that I took off. It's not a very long chain. There is a little bit of wear to it, but it's not terrible. So I don't think it's worn out. It doesn't bend. You know, if you guys remember what the chains looked like on the combine that we took off and how much wear was in them. This one's in pretty good shape yet. It is a little dirty. They're going to get that way. So we're going to clean them up and spray them down with some lubricant, and then we'll get them put back on the planter. All right, well, we got the 4 chains on this side of the planter off. Brock's going to work on cleaning them up. We've got a parts cleaner there. We've got another one in our oil room that's got diesel in it. He's going to mess around with that. Dad just called me. He got a little aggressive using his backhoe as a bulldozer. Broke a valve stem off the front tire. So we've got to load up some tools, sockets, because I have no idea which one it is, and go rescue him. Looks like Dad's fire's still smoldering. I think he set that fire on Friday. Today's Wednesday. And he just keeps stoking it every day, pushing more stuff onto it. Cleaning up the edge of the woods back here, and just doing a good job. Ooh, it looks almost muddy. I thought it would be frozen solid. I'm gonna guess whatever happened to his tire happened while he was pushing that stuff way back in there. I know.
What happened, my oil tank on my saw wasn't on tight.
Ah, great. All right. I'm gonna let him work on that. Yeah. Brock's cleaning chains and putting them back on there. You like my little marking system here? I put colored zip ties on the chain and on the spot where they came from, so we know where everything goes. Now that they're going back on, we can take them off. We gotta get this stem off. Gotta get to that nut. If it holds air, good as new. Alright, well, we got that done. Appears that our backhoe has a bit of an alignment issue. This tire's a little not wearing straight. I said something today. He's like, well, you'd have an alignment issue too if you had 7,000 hours on you. Okay. Did you guys hear that sound? That's the sound of money going into that truck. You guys, it's a good day. Look what I got. Oh, you're gonna like this one. Ready for this? Oh, I'm excited. Oh, I'm excited. Oh, 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 yes. It's new phone day. Oh, yeah, she's beautiful and massive. All right. Well, I decided that since I have started my little YouTube business here, and I film everything with my phone, and I do everything with my phone, and I use my phone daily for making videos, that I could treat myself to a nice, new, good phone with a very high-quality camera. So what we have here that I don't even want to touch because my fingers are dirty is a brand new, released today, Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. That's the top of the line right there. And lucky for me, they lowered their prices this year. So I got this pretty reasonable because the phone this one right here that I'm talking on, they gave me over half the cost of the new one in trade-in value, which that's awesome. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. We're gonna take her home and get her fired up and transfer it over so that we can tomorrow record on that one. By the way, this phone, she came FedEx, right? FedEx. The same company that would not leave a tin of popcorn at my seed warehouse right down the road there, left a $1,000 phone sitting on my parents' porch and didn't send me an email to tell me that they had delivered it. Thanks, FedEx. But at least they left it and didn't take it back. I'm not gonna complain. Well, here we go. I gotta shut this phone off to activate it. So anyway, it's 5 o'clock. I got a project to work on at home, so I'm heading home. And my wife had something going on tonight again, so I've got to get going. But I'll probably update you a little bit more from there before we wrap this one up. So 2 years ago, I installed the tile floor in our kitchen and laundry room area. And I decided it needed some quarter round along the base of the cabinets. Well, I'm finally getting to it. So I brought Dad's saw home. I'm cutting some trim pieces, tacking them up in there. So I'm just putting this along in there. Oh, gotta trim it just a little bit. Somebody measured wrong. That's all right. Just to try and cover up my mistakes that I made when I put the floor down. It looks better. Much better. I measured the outside and I cut the inside the first time, so I'll get my gun and tack it down. There, good enough. First clip recorded on my new phone here. Anyway, I got my quarter round put down and my new phone working. So have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Hit that like and subscribe button for me, please. And if you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. We're going to get that bean planter just about wrapped up tomorrow, I think.